Flames of Hate from Mephisto, and this combination executed perfectly at the end of the game.
From Alarak, make it a quad kill set up by that easy.
Wow, did you see that mosh pit? 4-man mosh pit while on a conveyor belt. That was like a regular sushi line.
Nubarak, core at 50%. Both cores are just absolutely melting. Which one's going to go down first? I think this is going to be Respect the Gooses. Oh my goodness.
Ring. Oh my goodness, the ring. Jaina just pulling up everybody here. That's a 4, make it 5
And it
for
does
nothing.
knock them all up. What a play. Oh my God, somebody please clip that.
Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome back for some more NGS action, some more Division C action. This time, we're going to the East Coast, where our friends ProBUs will be playing our friends Ziconium League. We're getting down to the final stretch here. Only one more week in the regular season before playoffs. So things getting tight. Let's take a look at the CE standings. We can see our friends ProBUs. Oh, just kidding. That's C West standings. So I thought I fixed that, but obviously I did not. Let's fix it quickly. So ignore that. And it's fixed. There's our C East standings. You can see our ProBUs friends sitting in a pretty good spot, currently in 4th place. I don't think they've mathematically clinched yet, but we can check with the playoff predictions that the one and only DB Smiley has placed up, and we can confirm that. I lied. ProBUs has 100% clinched a playoff spot, so they are fighting for seeding and seeding alone. Some pride, want to climb up those standings. And Ziconium League still has a chance to get into the playoffs, but it is going to be a difficult path, so they need to pick up any and all points that they can get. So big matchup here for Ziconium League, currently sitting out of the playoff positions in 8th, but with some wins, some dominations likely, and some points, they can climb up into the playoffs, so they're not out of it yet. I do know the guys on Ziconium League pretty well. Played with them last season. Good peeps. I know some of the guys on ProBUs a little bit, not quite as much, but they are a veteran squad. Have definitely been around NGS for a minute. Positive community members, all that good stuff. So map number 1 will be Alterac Pass. Looks like ProBUs has first pick, so this was map choice of Ziconium League. Alterac is a little bit unique in the map pool of Heroes of the Storm, in that it's the only map that has a core that one is mobile, moves, it regenerates all its health, and it actually has armor based on the number of keeps that are up. So typically you're not going to see teams rush at core on Alterac Pass with just 1 keep. Usually you try to drop 2, and I think you're going to see teams less likely to make close core calls, because here on Alterac, if you don't finish the core entirely, it's a complete waste of time. You really have to finish it all the way. You can't leave it at 2% and come back. Also, the bosses are on the weak side, and the mid lane mercenary is actually stronger than the bosses here, I would make an argument. So some definitely different dynamics than other maps. Also, mid lane may be the most important because from the safety of your mid fort, heroes with long range, looking at your Chromies, your Junkrats, your Li Mings, can actually disrupt the objective channel from the safety of within their own fort. So if you can keep your mid fort up and destroy the opposition's mid fort, it's definitely an advantage. So we do have all members of both teams here, just waiting for somebody to hit that start button. And right on cue, we are jumping directly into game number 1 on Alterac Pass. ProBUs on the left, blue. Zirconium League on the right, red. First pick, first ban over to ProBUs. Let's see who they take out. The meta right now is definitely there is no consensus first ban. It's a good meta that way, that there's really a lot of heroes that you can make an argument for being first pick, first ban, and a lot of times it's map dependent and player dependent. But Zool is definitely one of the heroes that you see first ban sometimes, and I've also seen drafts this season, frankly, where Zool just doesn't appear in the game. He goes through the draft entirely, and that's kind of the meta I was talking about. Shadonis with Zirconium League responding with the Zeratul ban. I am not as familiar with ProBUs's map pools, but I assume that is a targeted ban. And then the Cassia taken away from Zirconium League by 8-bit on ProBUs. I'm going to pull up the old stats of the Storm here, see if we can get some information about our teams. Then Lunara banned out by Zirconium League. Lunara is one of those heroes when she's in the hands of a player that really knows what they're doing with her. She can be absolutely aggravating. So if assuming ProBUs has a solid Lunara player, that is an excellent ban. And this hero Tassadar, this is one we've seen more and more since the rework. Reworked him from kind of a pseudo support to an actual assassin. He puts out a ton of damage, doesn't have the same escape ability that old Tassadar did, but does a lot of damage, diveable, and on the squishy side, but definitely high in the damage number. Really aggravating, honestly, to play against as well. A good one. The flip side, Zirconium League, getting some of the premier positions locked up. Johanna on the front line. Lulu going to be playing the Deckard Cain. And ProBUs kind of rounding out their back line, going to take a Greymane and matched up with the ETC. Those are the kind of top two tanks in the meta right now. Johanna and ETC 1 and 1A in whatever order you want to put them in. So it looks like ProBUs has had 3 Zeratul games this season by Sage there, who's currently unaccounted for. So that would explain the Zeratul ban. And now we have Zirconium League taking out the Rhaegar. I think Rhaegar right now is solid, not spectacular, but he does do some things that other supports can't. Notably, bring some wave clear and some merc, the ability to do mercs in a way that most supports can't. Bloodlust, of course, just as viable as Ancestral nowadays, if not more so. So maybe you want to keep the Bloodlust away from Greymane. And then the Raynor, always solid. Shadonis moving from support last season to the off lane this season, and Wolverine is going to get Chromie. A very solid Chromie player. I also like the Chromie Deckard pairing in particular. Deckard has a lot of AoE roots and slopes to really set up the long distance Chromie artillery. And that leaves Weathervane, the last pick for Zirconium League.
My blades are yours.
So pretty standard comps for both teams. so far, unless Vayne picks something unusual. But ProBUs has the double backliner, the double frontliner, traditional mage, traditional auto attacker, traditional tank, traditional bruiser, and the support. So very standard composition here for ProBUs. Zirconia League, they are going to take Tychus. So same thing, you have your standard tank and offlaner, your mage, your auto attacker, and your support. So very standard kind of 2-2-1 comps from both of these squads. It is a busy Thursday night in the Nexus Gaming Series, so after this game I will be sure to host somebody, I'm not sure yet. But if you want to catch more Mongoose, I'm actually playing later today on Nexus Commentaries, 8:30 p.m. Pacific Time, Team Training Wheels versus Can't Counterpick Stupid. It's the nightcap in NGS, the latest game. So definitely drop on by if you're so interested. Should be a pretty good matchup. I know those guys at CCS, it seems like I've been playing them forever now, and they know us pretty well as well, so should be a fun one. So we do have a few viewers in there. Anybody who's so inclined, who won the draft, ProBUs or Zirconium League. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alterac Pass for game number 1 of our C East matchup. And the blue team, ProBUs, currently trying to climb their way up the standings, grab a higher seed for the Season 9 playoffs. No one hurt Lulu. She's favored by the mods. Lulu is indeed a mod favorite. Definitely a wonderful community contributor. The blue team, ProBUs, 8-bit on ETC, Tuna Breath, on Greymane and his Golden Rooster, John Bunyan on Tassadar, Irby on Stukov, and in the top lane, Sage on the Sonya. And the red team, Zirconium League, Dead On will be playing Johanna, Pet Wolverine on the Chromie, Shadonis on Dahaka, a Weathervane playing Tychus, and the aforementioned Lulu on Deckard Payne. So the traditional skirmish in the mid lane has completed. Sonya is already pushing in top. Dahaka making his way up there to meet his date in the top lane with Sonya. Bottom lane, it looks like the traditional Chromie Tassadar duel, as you do. I think this is a little bit easier for Tassadar. The Chromie skill shots are a little bit harder. However, she does have a little bit of a longer range. So I think if she does land some stuff on Tassadar, as squishy as Tass is, the Chromie can win this. It's just a little bit harder. Both teams immediately jumping onto the mid lane camps. If you get them early enough, of course, on Alterac, you can get them a second time before, or right as the objective spawns, I should say. So ProBUs just a little bit ahead on the camp by a few seconds, not by much. Shadonis is taking a lot of damage up there. This is a tough matchup for a Dahaka, frankly. Into the Sonya, you can't really trade with her. You don't have the damage output, so I think you actually got to play a little bit conservative into this matchup. Meanwhile, mid lane, both teams fighting it out, trying to support their own bruiser camps. Irby putting that lurking arm in a very uncomfortable position for Zirconium League, really zoning them away. But they do manage to clear out the Merc camp nonetheless. Really not much to split these teams in the early going. XP is pretty much even, although 8-bit taking a lot of Tychus minigun damage there. So should be about another, if I were to guess, 30 seconds-ish or so before objectives are announced. Oh, well, 30 seconds before they're up. They will be announced right now. Let's go check on our solo lane matchup. Shadona's doing a little bit better, but Like I said, that's just such a rough matchup into that Sonya. The Dahaka just can't match the wave clear, the damage output, and the self-sustain. And now tanking the musket balls from those little ranged musket men here on Alterac. I think Shadonis might have to actually go refresh. There he goes. And then go ahead and use his Brush Stalker in. So first objective is bottom lane. Both teams moving over to the mid lane siege camps. ProBUs, though, just like before, just a hair faster, and will allow them advantage on the objective if they want to move on it right away. Zirconium League currently soaking and grabbing their own camp. And ProBUs now recognizing that Zirconium League is off the map. They got to figure where they're at. I'm surprised they didn't just beeline to the objective, get on there right away. But instead, they're going to push in. They're going to let Greymane do a little bit of siege damage, I would guess, because he excels at that. But by pushing these mercs in, they're actually going to kind of get free cleared by the towers. And then Zirconium League will have their own wave pushing. Now, Chromie, if she were in a better spot, could actually contest this indefinitely from the mid fort. Shadonis is down here. Everybody is down here. We have a 5-on-5. If Iron Skin is used, the tongue does hit the Stukov, not able to pull him much farther. 8-bit taking so much Tychus damage. Shadonis taking a lot of damage as well, grabbing the healing potion, and a fair bit of trading out both ways. I think ProBUs took the worst of it slightly, and now that's going to be a big CC coming out by Deckard. Stukov gets tongued, and first blood of the game to Zirconium League, and they want more. Sonya is in trouble, trying to spin away. The face melt from ETC does buy enough space, but only momentarily, as Tychus is able to secure the kill. 2-0 in favor of a Zirconium League team. They are saying, we want playoffs. And we don't care what the standings are, because on paper, they're definitely a little bit of an underdog. ProBUs has had a stronger season thus far, and no two ways about it. So now they are on the channel. They will, it looks like, seed the re-channel right away and move back up. Deckard Payne caught in a silence. He is rotating away. ETC hanging out in the bush. They probably know he's there. And now they will back right up. I would really like to see... Oh, did they get Tychus? Oh, Tychus is in trouble. He does use the dash, the wall there, holding him in place. The blind goes out. The lurking arm is going to, for sure, pick up Tychus. It's only a matter of time. But a really nice play there by Vayne on Tychus. He kind of realized that he was dead and just started wailing on ETC. You popped that trait and did enough damage to ETC to at least secure the trade out. So it's a 1-for-1. Vayne able to take somebody with him despite the fact that he was caught just a little bit out of position. So once again, Zirconium League is pushing up on the objective. They're trying to channel Sonya coming on the flank. She does hit the spear. Both teams now have all of their members on the way. Zirconium League, by virtue of their kills, is slightly ahead on objective. But neither team really able to get a significant advantage. If I'm Zirconium League, knowing I'm ahead right now, I'm just kind of soaking for 10, putting Chromie. You can easily put Chromie up in this mid fort, and she can just stall. You soak for 10, and then use that 10, and you force in hard. And it looks like that's what they're doing, because level 10s are here. Get aggressive. Zirconium League. So we have Isolation, yes. Stay a while and listen, yes. Johanna has not selected. I assume it's going to be Blessed Shield. Commandeer Odin for Tychus, and Slowing Sands for Chromie. I don't think level 10s will be here in time for ProBUs to contest this. And they will not. First objective over to Zirconium League. They're looking good so far. The leap missed, as is the power slide. Wolverine got himself into trouble, but does not get picked off. A Stay a While and Listen turns into a great counter engage, and they get the kill on the ETC. Johanna pushed away with the massive shove. Tychus is in trouble, or I'm sorry, Tassadar in trouble, but the wall able to save him. Wolverine there would have been 100% DEAD dead, but Sonya actually missed on the leap, and then ETC also missed on the power slide. And ProBUs actually almost got Johanna anyway, but Lulu with the big play, the Stay a While and Listen, set up the kill. And now Zirconium League trying to get some work in here. Is this going to be a mosh pit? No. They do force him back. Let's go ahead talk about the heroics for ProBUs. We have mosh pit, massive shove, cursed bullet, Archon, and leap, which we saw.
The next time our raiders charge, the Stormpikes will fall.
So immediately onto the camp for Zirconium League. They got decent value out of that first objective, which sometimes you don't. They got a full wall in the mid lane, a full wall in the bottom lane, and a full wall in the top lane. So another objective will really set this up for them. ProBUs now starting the boss. I don't know if Shadonis actually saw it. He did, and maybe they're just opting to trade bosses. So not going to contest bottom, just going to step in. Now Sonya does know it's here. She does eat the time trap. Chromie trying to drive Sonya away. I'm not sure what Sage is going to do all by himself. And I don't think there's time for ProBUs to run up here. Bottom boss was picked up. Top boss now picked up by Zirconium League. And ProBUs is going to have to rotate mid to save their mid fort if that's what they want to do. These bosses, when they're left to free push on Alterac, they don't really do a whole lot. I mean, this bot boss, I wonder if it just stayed here, if it'll get fort even by itself. Maybe it'll be close. Top fort definitely going to go down because Zirconium League is pushing with this. Now ProBUs has responded. They're going to back up, but the fort already secured. In the bottom lane, okay, bottom fort will go down as well, and Vayne on the Tychus down here to clear that out. And despite not getting the first objective, and despite being down on kills, 4-4-1, it's actually ProBUs who's been doing a better job of maneuvering around the map and soaking, and they hit level 13 first. Zirconium League needs to back up. They could easily overstay. That fort is so low, and they do. Chromie trying to put the last bit of damage into it. Oh my goodness, it has 43 health left. This mid fort has 43 health left. Somebody just needs to go over there and sneeze on it, and it'll go down. So both teams have level 13s. Both teams have picked up the mid camps. Dahaka is in the bottom lane doing his global thing. All of the rest of the members for both squads are already here. Chromie can actually poke this indefinitely, and I kind of would like to see Shadona stay down a little while longer. Between slowing stands and Deckard and the range of Chromie, now they do get ETC. He is eating a lot of damage. He does eat the Blessed Shield and the Tongue. Odin is popped. ETC does not go down, and ProBUs able to disengage, and that's unfortunate because I don't think that means, or I think that means that the Zirconium League here will not get a lot of value out of that Commandeer Odin. But what I started to say was with Slowing Sands and Deckard Cain and Johanna and Chromie, I feel like that comp could really stall out the objective for a pretty long time. A nice burrow there by Shadonis actually juked the cursed bullet, and then he turns around and grabs Greymane, who's in a world of trouble. Leap onto the back, doesn't get anybody. ETC in trouble again, going deep onto the Chromie, but it's the blue health bars that are so low, but it's actually Dahaka that goes down first. Greymane and Sonya are so low. Greymane is going to go down. It is a 1-for-1, and Sage is in absolute no man's land. Does spin all over everybody, but they do get the Sonya nonetheless. Well, the team that plays Probe doesn't count when Tlems isn't here, Colonel Pants. So once again, Zirconium League going to step on the objective. Once again, they do win the team fight over the objective, forcing ProBUs to wait for respawn timers and to grab their own mid lane camp. Dahaka should be soaking top. I assume Brushstalker's probably up by now. He can come back in whenever he feels like it. But instead, he's just going to hang out here. And Deckard Cain throwing out all of the pots. They are here. They are waiting. It's going to make it much tougher for ProBUs to step into this. Because those aren't just regular healing pots. Those are super healing pots. ETC just taking a ton of damage again, as is Shadonis. But once again, right before the silence, he jukes. Grab those pots, Shadonis. Grab the pots. He does get away, and a big stay a while and listen catches 3. Sonya goes down. Objective over to Zirconium League. ETC is really taking a lot of damage, having a hard time holding that front line. And Shadonis, 2 or 3 times now, has been hitting the burrow like a half a second before the silence come out. If he was just a second slower on his E, he would have been dead at least twice over. But he's been just fast enough. Absolutely Johnny on the spot with his burrow. Now Zirconium League with level 16 talent tier advantage with the objective and the minion wave. They are eyeballing this mid lane keep. There's another big silence. This time, Shadonis will not get out. They put the silence there. They put the wall behind him, and he was in a lot of trouble. Shadonis goes down. Good defense here by ProBUs, forcing Zirconium League back. I assume they're just going to rotate bottom, go ahead and pick up this fort. This fort will be free because ProBUs does have to defend the top lane here. Now Zirconium League doesn't want to overstay here. You just want to back up. You are down a member. And you can see the rotations on the minimap. ProBUs was already moving to flank them if they had stayed longer than they should have. And they didn't. ProBUs just rotating to the bottom and cleaning up the lanes. So we're going to have a little bit of a lull here. Boss play by Zirconium League in a lane that already has no fort and a weak, no front wall on the top keeper, half a front wall, I should say. I assume ProBUs figures they're on their mid-camp. There's going to be no contest, but there will be a mirrored move on the bottom boss. So these teams, macro-wise, pretty much on the same page. They're mirroring each other. Just the order in which they're doing it is slightly different. Shadonis going to go ahead, break away from his team, do some clearing there, but then backing up. He doesn't see them on the map. Now he'll step forward again as soon as ProBUs shows in the top. So this boss isn't going to get a whole lot done. Like I said, they're kind of weak here. It'll probably get this tower, and that's going to be it. That's really all it's going to do. This bottom one may not even get a tower, frankly. When you have a full team melting them, they just don't do anything. Nope, 1 tower. That's what I got. So despite the level 7-3 advantage, really ProBUs, although a little behind in level, it's basically nothing. Let's see if we can check the XP. There we go. Where are they making up? And it's the minions. You can see they have 5,000 experience more from the minions than Zirconium League does. So they're really picking up the minions better. Both teams here now. This is an aggressive invasion, and Sonya is on the back. I think Zirconium League is in trouble. There's the lead. Catches him in the mud pit. Time Trap does pop. Mosh Pit goes out. Lulu's still in trouble. Pops the stay a while and listen, but it's not going to matter. Deckard goes down. Sonya so low, but Johanna goes down anyway. I really, Wolverine is not going to get out of this, and that's going to be 3-0 in favor of ProBUs. The positioning by Zirconium League there was so awkward. They were on the opponent side of the map, split out by terrain, and it just allowed Sonya to leap onto the back line unopposed. And that's going to allow ProBUs here to get on the objective. Let's see, they have 40 seconds on this and 27. It's going to be tight, but I don't think Zirconium League is going to have time to contest the objective. You can't step in here if you're Zirconium League. It's too late. This keep is done. There's only 2 of you left. Tongue does go out, does not land. And now 18 seconds with still no Chromie. And now ProBUs starting to take command of this game. Chromie is on her way now. 6 seconds. Johanna is going to try to channel. It's interrupted. Cursed Bullet missed. Iron Skin pop. Zirconium League going in hard. They do get the channel with 1.9 seconds as the Lurking Arm missed. Lurking Arm actually didn't hit anybody, and neither did the tongue from Shadonis. Now, in the Zirconium League's favor, they do have a real nice push here in the top lane. This keep is going to take a lot of damage. But no 20s. And frankly, I kind of think they have to fight without it. Good flashlight from Dead on the Johanna. Chromie is in the launch position there. A little late, though. Oh, the cues from Chromie were just a second late. And objective going over to ProBUs. Top keep, though, does fall to minions. And this structures are a dead advantage. There's the one-man mosh pit / cursed bullet / everything onto Shadonis, but he is still alive thanks to Lulu with the stay a while and listen, and alive for now, I should say. Pops it again. Shadonis stayed alive a long time, but they finally bring him down. Lulu has been really great with the heroics from Deckard Payne this game. Almost got Shadonis out of a rough spot, but wasn't quite able to do so. Now, if Zirconium League can get out of this with the game intact, this is going to be anybody's game to take, but they really need Shadonis back. There's the power slide with the silence. The unstoppable level 20, I forget the name of the talent for Johanna, the one where she doesn't die, does keep her alive, but mid keep goes down. Core is falling. This has to be the Alamo for Zirconium League. Core falling fast, Johanna falling, and that is going to be game number 1. Going over to ProBUs. That was a very close game, and Zirconium League was actually up just a little bit for the most of the game. But the one kind of awkward invasion there, and ProBUs absolutely punished them for it, and then just rode that to the end. So definitely some missed opportunities there for Zirconium League, but that did not look like a match between a 4th place team and an 11th place team. That was a very close game, very back and forth. Really, I think just the one big mistake from Zirconium League cost them there. And so let's see where we're going to go for game number 2. We're going to put the BRB screen back. I'm going to grab a glass of water, and we'll be back for game number 2 in just a moment. Welcome back for game number 2, which will be on Braxis Holdout. It looks like Zirconium League went for first pick, so ProBUs decided to take us to Braxis Holdout. That was after watching game number 1, and that was, these teams are very close to the same level. The team fighting was very close on both sides. To me, the biggest difference in the game, other than that unfortunate positioning on the camp invade, was about 2/3 of the way through there, we took a look at the experience soaked by both teams, and ProBUs had done a much better job of soaking up the minions, and that allowed them to offset the fact that they were down in kills. And maybe if they don't grab the minion soak as well as they were, maybe they aren't in the position in the late game to take it back the way that they did. Sometimes that XP soak can quietly be the difference. And I think watching that game, a 5,000 to 6,000 difference in XP for minion soak, 2/3 of the way through the game, that's a big, big difference. And to me, that was really the only standout thing that differentiated the two teams, was how much better ProBUs was up at mopping up that experience. Having said that, I can see either one of these teams winning game number 2. Especially on Braxis Holdout, where if that is the difference between the two teams, if ProBUs is just better at soaking up experience, that's less relevant on Braxis Holdout, right? It's not as big. There's not as much to cover. You're pretty much in lane, both lanes all the time almost. So maybe that can play in their favor. Zirconium League not going to let the Zeratul through again. Just like game 1, no Zeratul for game number 2. And just like game 1, no Zool for game number 2. It is not Colonel Pants. If you want to talk to the Mongoose beard department, you have to talk to my daughter. She is in charge of my beard. She says I should shave it, so I shaved it. Also, it's like 90 degrees here. I live in Los Angeles, so it's much cooler. Maybe Probe's execution in team fights was better, but it didn't show game number 1. I thought the team fights were pretty dead even in game number 1, with the exception of the one fight that Zirconium League just put themselves in a really awkward position. They're being split by terrain like that and caught in that mud pit. They were going to lose that fight. I don't care how well they executed it. So, I'm not saying that ProBUs' team fight execution isn't better, but in game number 1, from what I saw, they looked very close. Cassia banned out again by ProBUs, Deckard Cain banned out by Zirconium League, and then Shadonis going to take Rexar onto Braxis Holdout. 2 picks for ProBUs. They're going to go back to the Tassadar and back to the ETC. If it's not broken, don't fix it. Frankly, if ProBUs runs the exact same comp, it will certainly work on Braxis. Wolverine going to be on the Sylvanas, Dead On back on the Johanna. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Colonel Pants. I'm not going to say sloppy, but I think both teams team fighting, other than the one awkward positioning thing that Zirconium League did, all of the other team fights were pretty even. But their macro, the way that they just soaked up that XP, that was ProBUs' advantage in that game. I agree. Gonna get rid of the Kael'thas, who's always strong. Back to the Lunara ban for Zirconium League. Now 2 picks for ProBUs. Let's see where they go. What is going to be the meat of their comp? Who do they select? 5 seconds. Gonna be Stukov and Greymane again. I don't know where I've seen this before. Very familiar. Do I go out on a limb and say Sonya last pick? I know that's out there. It would be shocking. Anduin for Lulu and Orphea for Vayne. The Johanduin combination, it's actually going to be Imperious, so they're going to change it up a little bit. But the Johanduin combination, Light Bomb with Johanna, can be very strong. If you time it right and Johanna uses the Iron Skin aggressively into a Blessed Shield, so if you hit the Blessed Shield right as you're Iron Skinning and then Condemning is the follow-up, if Anduin puts the Light Bomb in the middle of all that, it's almost impossible to not combo off of the Condemn. So the Light Bomb Johanna combo, when executed properly, can be very strong. So whose draft do we like better? ProBUs, winners of game number 1, looking for the 2-0 domination, or Zirconium leagues, trying to force that game 3 and pick up the points they desperately need to climb back into the playoff picture. Who you got, chat? Who you got? Lunara was banned, Cavlor. They would not see her this game. Game number 2. The blue team. ProBUs. 8-Bit back on ETC. Irby back on Stukov. John Bunyan back on Tassadar. Tunabref having a sandwich of the Hall of Storms on the Greymane, and Sage on Imperious. The red team, Zirconium League, we have a Weathervane on Orphea, Lulu on Anduin, Pet Wolverine on Sylvanas, Dead on playing Johanna, and Shadonis on Rexar. So Orphea Sylvanas is a lot of damage. As is Greymane Tassadar, though. We'll see. I am interested to see how this Imperious Rexar matchup goes. I know Colonel Pants is an offlaner. Offlane matchups are not my area of expertise, so I don't know how that's supposed to go. That pull from Lulu is going to be huge this game. Into the wall and into the lurking arm. 8-Bit once again, and we saw that a lot actually first game, is 8-Bit getting chunked out and forced to get out of dodge. So Shadonis and Sage dueling it out in the top lane. Looks like so far no advantage to either. Back in the bottom lane, just in time for me to miss a kill onto Orphea falling. Dead On is in trouble, and he is going to go down as well. First 2 kills over to ProBUs. So the members of Zirconium League have spawned. They are making their way back to the bottom lane. That little numbers advantage did allow ProBUs to grab the Siege Giants in the bottom lane, and where they will now 4-man push with it, and the 4-mans will clash one more time. I want to check in on our solo laners here, because I am actually very interested in this matchup. And now this is one of the advantages that Rexar has, is that Misha can stay on the point while Rexar soaks. Imperious can't do both, and Imperious is actually completely and totally out of mana. He literally has to leave. So Shadonis doing a nice job there, but back in the 4-man, the mercenaries have been cleaned up. There goes the lurking arm. Irby holding it down for just a second before backing up. And there's the power slide onto the Johanna, doesn't connect, and now once again 8-Bit taking a ton of damage. He's already used his power slide. The pull onto Johanna, and it's actually Orphea able to secure the kill onto ETC. ETC is definitely a really good tank, but also one of the squishier ones. So if you put the damage into him, you can definitely melt him. And that's what happened there. Double channel over to Zirconium League. Imperious having a hard time into this Rexar, and he just doesn't have the mana. And now he has to choose, stand on the point or go soak. So much so that Greymane actually had to come up, but there's the Impale onto Shadonis. Can he get away? Misha does get the stun out and saves Shadonis. He escapes with 151 health. Now, Zirconium League, they have to know Greymane is up top. You need to get aggressive and step on the point, and that's exactly what they're doing. Johanna does step on the point. They bully ProBUs off and take that back. Greymane now coming back down. Shadonis did go back to the Hall of Storms and fills up, as you would expect. And now ETC trying to get back on the point one more time. Meanwhile, I'm going to try to poke my head in the top lane, but this map can be difficult to observe on because both top lane and bottom lane are fighting right now, but you can only watch one of them. Johanna taking a lot of damage. There goes the Greymane dead on, going to go down, but so does Stukov. A 1-for-1. Greymane is super low. The red health bars here are actually a little bit higher, but ProBUs has the tank. Shadonis did manage to get Imperius off the point, and then the 4-man got it again, and this is going to be first objective going over to Zirconium League, 100% to 58%. So it looks like, are they going to leave Shadonis to clear that as best he can? Yes. So the 4-mans for each team are going to siege in the bottom or defend as appropriate, and the solos will stay in the top. That lurking arm positioning is so aggravating if you're Zirconium League, so really good placement for Irby, as the placement of that lurking arm really stunted the siege potential for Zirconium League. However, they do get the wall anyway. They actually are up at level 7. They do get the well, and that's a pretty big deal. I think that's about all they're going to get. Meanwhile, top lane, Shadonis does lose Misha, and poor Rexar now is in trouble. You really want to keep this well up. I'm surprised Imperius didn't go a little harder after that well. Maybe he kind of sensed that the members of Zirconium League were missing and fishing, and he went the long way to get out. They tried to get him, but unsuccessful. Imperius is out. You can see they're fishing for him in the bushes. So are they going to switch solo laners now? There's the shutdown by Wolverine on the Sylvanas. Greymane going on a Wolverine who is low. I think that Lulu meant to hit Sylvanas there, but actually pulled back Orphea. And Zirconium League, I like the aggression, but a little bit overly so when they get punished for the overstay with Johanna and Sylvanas going down. And now ProBUs, they're thinking boss. This is a really early boss. However, Greymane has excellent boss burn, and I don't think Zirconium League had any idea. They probably assumed ProBUs was on their camps, but instead they like insta-rip boss. They did that in like, I don't know, 15-20 seconds. If I'm Zirconium League, I think you have to note how fast they were able to do that for later in the game. That means any small window that they have, they can absolutely rip boss. There's that annoying lurking arm again. And look at that placement. They just can't step forward into it at all. One of the reasons Stukov can be so good is just how oppressive the lurking arm can be. So this boss actually evens out the wells and evens out the bottom lane. Both teams have no turrets, have no wells. And now we will resume where we left off before objective. So ProBUs going to hit level 10 first, not by too much, but they will get there first. Zirconium League, I really would like them to back up a little because they don't have 10s here. And it's going to be Mosh Pit, Archon. I believe that's Angelic Armaments, and it is. Go for the throat. Speaking of Mosh Pit, there it is. Great Iron Skin by Dead On. That was a real quick trigger finger. Really well played there. Stukov has not selected yet. Level 10s now here for the side of Zirconium League. It is going to be Bestial Wrath, Light Bomb, Blessed Shield, Crushing Jaws, and Wailing Arrow. And Zirconium League right back on the objective. Now, Mosh Pit is still on cooldown, so no threat there. There's that lurking arm again. Greymane pressuring the side, and Lulu is going to get caught out too far. Was on the other side of Johanna, but she light bombs herself and is able to get away with 96 health. And then the follow-up, the counter-engage by Zirconium League, catches the ETC out, but Wolverine with 15 health! 15, he gets away. Weathervane with less than 100. 3 heroes that fight on Zirconium League escaped with literally less than 100 health. Imperius does get Rexar. However, in the midst of all that, the channel was actually, the objective was channeled 100-0. I have never seen, I don't think, 3 separate heroes escape with less than 100 health like that before. That was pretty wild. So Zirconium League going to run down to the bottom lane and clear up what little push there is, save their bottom fort. And because the entirety of ProBUs was able to respond to this objective, basically that objective accomplished nothing for either team. Maybe if Zirconium League pushes in with Sylve, but I think they're reticent to do that after doing so in the top lane and getting punished. And now they're going to try to bait this a little bit, catch somebody in rotation, possibly. They're trying not to give away their positioning. Now I still want somebody to anchor that, though. You can't give away the naked flank. There goes Dead On. Now you got to dismount the Sage. Perfect. Nice slow. There's the Impale. Catches one anyway. Zirconium League still a little slow on the disengage. Mosh Pit into Crushing Jaws and into Light Bomb. Anduin and Sylvanas go down anyway. And that has been the Johanna as well. Just these overstays and exposed flanks. In Game 1, the big one, and twice here in Game 2 have just absolutely punished Zirconium League, allowing those naked flanks to just be run up on like that. And now ProBUs, honestly, they're in the driver's seat. They're up slightly in experience. They are up in talent tier. They are thinking about boss, but maybe deciding not to, instead going onto the siege camp. Both sides jumping onto their siege camp. Actually, both sides kind of watching the boss. You can see ETC and Johanna on opposite sides, keeping an eye on the boss. And then back to lanes we go. Johanna is keeping an eye on the boss because they do know how quickly they ripped it last time. Shadonis needs to be super careful, and this is why I don't think Shadonis is in trouble. The Impale hits, there's the power slide, there's all of the other buttons. And nice job of ProBUs to kind of wait in that bush, be patient, and take out Shadonis in the off lane. Now Zirconium League, they're definitely on the back foot here. I want to know what ProBUs is going to do here. Are they going to rip boss? No, they're going to pressure top fort. That's a great decision. With a Greymane and a Tassadar, they can do some serious work. They do just get the well for now, but I think honestly, they just get on this fort. There's no reason not to. That will allow Zirconium League to take down that fort, which was on its last legs anyway. That was going to happen at some point.
Blue team has destroyed a fort.
And now Zirconium League playing a little bit of chicken, pushing in one more time, and now they're backing up. I think they're kind of having flashbacks of the last 2 times they overstayed. But that does drag ProBUs back over here. So the fact that they did what they did and backed up in time, really well done. Rexar showing top, though. An invade here by ProBUs would be huge. And here they come. It's going to be close. They do get the objective in time. Johanna is impaled and then power slid, and then is able to pop the unstoppable and then pulled. The Crushing Jaws does not catch anybody, and it looks like nobody will go down for either side. There were some R buttons used for both teams, though. More for Zirconium League, though. But pre-16, this is when they want to step in. Big condemn, and the light bomb, but Johanna was unfortunately going backwards. Don't think it'll matter. Imperius down. Greymane down. Mosh Pit interrupted. ETC down. The best fight of the game so far for Zirconium League. Johanna does go down as well, but Stukov is in trouble, and that is 5-4-1. Big moment for Zirconium League there. I love the aggression. They needed to take the fight pre-16, and they did. Really well played, and now they're going to get on a boss. They will have the objective. They already have Mercs pushing in the bottom lane. I don't know which side this boss is going to go, but if it goes bottom, it is going to be the wave and boss and Sylve and the Merc camps. That would be a huge push bottom. Let's see where it's going to go. And I think, fortunately for ProBUs, it's actually going to go top. That would have been one of the biggest pushes I've seen on Praxis, frankly. A boss, a Merc camp, and a wave with a Sylvanas. Ziconium League pushing in. They know this is really the moment they need. I mean, you can see these structures are absolutely melting. Shadonis is too. He's really low. He needs to be careful. Sylvanas shutting it down. Imperius is looking for something. Misha goes down. I don't think Ziconium League is going to get more than the fort, and they need to back up. This keep is dead. You do have to leave. It is going to go down, guys. Get out, and they do. So first keep over to Ziconium League. The push for ProBUs does not accomplish very much. The boss will probably get fort, and it does. So that team fight gets them a fort and a keep and map control, and now they are bush partying. Wolverine is pretty low, but if anybody goes on this camp, especially if they split, but they don't. So ProBUs maybe smelled something was up, but good patience right here by Ziconium League. They're just waiting for the opportunity to rip into somebody. How long will they wait? Okay, Johanna left, so they're kind of done waiting. But I loved that idea. If ProBUs would have went there first, that would have been really interesting to watch. Nice job by Dead on there, checking the bush. Not quite sure where ProBUs is. And after a rocky start for Ziconium League there, we have a game. This is a game. Level 16 to level 16. Structure lead for Ziconium League, despite being down 12 to 8 in kills. And both sides have sort of tried to bush party each other. But neither side has been successful, although somebody anchor that bush. There you go, Misha Bear. Because that's where Ziconium League has gotten into trouble with these big flanks. You can see Misha Bear is there, and now Ziconium League, the danger pings are coming out, and they are backing up. So nice withdrawal there. That's about the cleanest withdrawal we've seen out of Ziconium League this matchup so far. And now we have the lull in the game where these two teams will wait around in bushes for the objective, which has just popped. I mean, rip this if you're Ziconium League, right? Add to the pressure in the bottom lane. That's the big advantage they have right now, is they have Katas coming bottom lane, so you may as well build up that pressure, right? And they do. So Imperius top. I'm curious, all 5 members of Ziconium League going to stay together, and they are. So they can see Imperius in the top lane, or they will momentarily. So if they find somebody, like ETC can't stay there. If Misha Bear caught him, a Blessed Shield follow-up could have killed them. So the Tassadar vision does reveal where Ziconium League is. They are rotating up. Dangerous, a little bit of a dangerous rotation. Imperius all the way out here by himself, kind of rotating aggressively, but I guess he knew where they were, so decided that it was safer to actually go aggressive side. And now Ziconium League rotating back, and they do have time on their side because that pressure will need to be dealt with. A little bit of a split engagement there, wall coming out from Tassadar, and Ziconium League actually played a real nice chess game right here. They forced this map rotation with the camp and the Katas. And now they know they're channeling. As soon as somebody shows up top lane, they know they have numbers. And Ziconium League is being really aggressive. They want to find something. They did find a face melt, but not much more. Tassadar putting in a lot of damage. Shadonis is so low. But they do get onto the Grey Mane. The Impale hits only one, and there's the Mosh Pit, Light Bomb, crushing jobs, everybody pressing their Rs. Misha, the first to go down, closely followed by Johanna. Ziconium League is in trouble. Vayne going to go... No! Imperius goes down, then Vayne goes down, and a lot of people going down, but Sylve actually got out the backside, and that's going to be disaster for Zirconium League. Lulu running for her life. I think she'll be able to get away with that Anduin speed talent that I don't know the name of, but still 3 for 1 for Zirconium League. That was kind of an awkward engagement with Zirconium League coming from ProBUs' side of the map. It was a little bit split. They didn't seem like they had the same target in mind, really. So this will be the inverse of what we just saw with ProBUs getting boss and objective. And this boss will go bottom lane, which is the same lane as the objective for ProBUs. And they'll grab the siege camp here. Now, fortunately for Zirconium League, because of the catapults, the lane was pressured out, so there won't be any regular lane minions to support this. But the boss, the Zerg wave, and the minion camp, the siege camp, will be enough. There's a pretty good amount of free damage they're getting onto this thing right now, but you got to back up because the wall and the lurking arm and Wolverine, yep, go that way, buddy. Nice job. Misha goes down again. There's the lurking arm to zone out the defense of Zirconium League. Front wall melting fast, and this keep gonna go down. The only question is the game going to go down with it? Wolverine oversteps, punished by the Greymane, and this might be the beginning of the end. Weatherfane actually uses Crushing Jaws defensively, but go for the throat, takes him down. Mosh Pit interrupted actually by Light Bomb. Zirconium League doing their best to defend, but I think this is it, ladies and gentlemen. Barring something absolutely miraculous, Game 2 will go over to ProBUs. A very entertaining set, but a 2-0 domination for ProBUs nonetheless. Pretty fun matchup. The second game, the first game, it kind of felt like Zirconium League controlled it a little bit more. The second game, it felt like ProBUs had control most of the way through, but ProBUs, man, they had that big moment where they got the ace and were able to bring that game back. Unfortunately, just couldn't really hold on to that momentum. Here's the talents for those of you so inclined. So that is going to be it for me. We are going to throw you over to... Who are we going to throw you over to? What other games are going on right now? You know what? This is Division C. Let's stay in Division C. We're going to throw you over to Maestrocasts, who is casting a Division C West matchup, Essence Gaming versus amateur opponents. If you want to come back and root the old mongoose on here, I am playing in about an hour on Nexus commentaries. That's Team Training Wheels versus Counterpicks 2, but also C West. That should be really fun. A good match, actually. I think it could go really either way. I expect a 2-1 one way or the other. So thanks for hanging out, guys. And I'll be back next week for probably one cast, maybe two. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll catch everybody either around the Discord or around the Nexus. Have a good night.